Hello, everyone. This is Jessica Pettitt, and who do I have the pleasure of interviewing today?
This is Pegine.
Dun,
And
dun, dun.
I go by my first name because if it's good enough for Cher, Shakira, Beyonce, it's good enough for me. Besides the fact that I've been in this work too long that if I tell you my last name, you won't remember the first name, and I just want you to remember me. So this is Pegine, and I am an expert speaker, writer, consultant on leading in a diverse world, specifically for women and people of multicultural shades.
Excellent. So as I have been doing these interviews, I start off with two open-ended questions. There's no wrong answers. It's just two concepts, and I'm really curious what your take is based on your experience doing D&I work and all the different facets that you just show up in the world. So the first concept is diversity dividend. So thinking about return, action, investment, what would you say diversity dividend is for doing D&I work?
Great question. So the diversity dividend for both me and my clients is to ensure that people, profits, and productivity are enhanced through the inclusive experience. And most importantly, to look at, so I like to work at the senior ranks where we're moving people up, which absolutely, especially for bringing in women and people of diverse backgrounds, profits increase because it's diverse ideas. I never thought about it that way. I never looked at it this way. Didn't know how to market this way. And it prevents companies and organizations from making not the stupid mistakes, like calling cars in a name that maybe in Spanish is an insult rather than something that they want to have.
Or like the nova, which literally in Spanish means doesn't move.
Well, doesn't move. And they didn't even know why that was happening. And it was really interesting because even in Latin America, the marketers in Latin America, it took them a while to because they came to trainings in the US hearing the Nova, right? But it wasn't until months of the sales guy, wait a minute, we're saying Nova. And that finally, like, duh. Or having Harley Davidson's and creating large motorcycles and assuming that women could ride them. When they're too big, they're too heavy, and they're going to fall down. But when I worked with Harley, making them smaller actually not only opened the women's market, but it also opened the Indian market in India because they're smaller people and they can't handle big Harley. They can handle the women's Harley. So that's a profit piece coming from D&I. That's a profit piece from understanding where it goes. The other piece about that is that from a dividend place is knowing that your stakeholders and constituents, wherever you are changing. And you need those ideas and those people to be sitting around at the table and looking at structure to see if it takes, like in the military, if it takes you 35 years to get to a senior level and you're never going to listen to the new incoming people that don't look like you, think like you, and act like you, you might be doing recruiting, might not be working your highest and best efforts to get the best people that you can get that don't look like you and don't think like you. So the dividends are, for me, a lot about recruiting, retention, and engagement so that you have the best people who want to play in your world.
Excellent. That segues to the other concept, which is asterisks, other duties assigned. So sometimes this is the last piece of like a job description, and sometimes it's what you voluntarily do either to feel like you have a community where you work, or you're voluntold to do it because of your own identities or being the only one, but you might not be rewarded for your emotional or physical or resource-based labor. So what does asterisks, other duties assigned mean to you?
So this is a great question. So when I work with my coaching clients who tend to be women and multicultural women at leadership places, is in this world right now, there's a lot of this asterisk. Oh, we need you to go to speak this conference. We need you to mentor that person. We need you, oh, senior female leader who is running a division of over 2,000 people, that you have to do your strategy and guess what? You're also the one that's in charge of mentoring these women. And so they daily get literally hundreds of calls. Can you mentor me? Can you mentor me? Can you mentor me? The other people who, they don't get those calls. They don't get that same level of calls because there's more people like them. So one of the challenges, one of the things I always say, like we're just coaching a woman now who's going to a new position, being hired in it. One of the things that the executive said, we really want you to be the face to women. Well, you need to pay me extra for that. That asterisk is mean I'm going to be putting more profits in your pocket because I'm going to be in places that you need me to be. I'm going to be helping you attract the highest level women or Hispanics or LGBT, whoever it is. You're sending me out to attract the best of the best. That means that you are saving money, you corporation, company, are saving money because you don't have to do some of the outreach. I am your outreach. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I'm going to get paid extra on that. The second thing also goes is if you speak a second language. So, and this goes whether you're being frontline or other type. If you are being asked, asterisk, to come in and translate, to come in and transcribe, to come in and communicate to a clientele in a language that you're fluent in, then that is extra money. That's not, so they use the asterisk as in everything else, but the negotiation needs to be, that's not an asterisk, that's a profit center, that's a revenue generating center, and that's a influence center that needs to be that I need to be compensated for. Mm-hmm. I'm big sticking on that asterisk.
Yeah, so this is part of the reason I was so excited to get to interview you, is because you always add, in my opinion, a completely different perspective inside of this. What other people would say is we're all in the same Jeopardy column, right? So being able to notice how, and to use the language of a profit center, of the things that you either opt into or get voluntold to do that are these other duties, are something that needs to be monetized because the results are monetized.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely. If I'm the only female on an engineering team and I'm being called to go out and speak to women conferences because you want the best, and you know I have to show up, or someone like me has to show up so that the name of the company gets out, that's a marketing dollar decision. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and awesome. And here's the other piece that's fascinating that nobody ever talks to it. Here we have these asterisks. Go out and talk to this conference. Go out and talk to that conference. Go out and being part of this. Get interviewed for this. Every time I'm taking away from my actual job, when it comes to annual review, you won't call on those things as an asset. Mm-hmm. I'm the one that's going to have to bring up. I went to 26 different conferences to speak on behalf of the company. That is a value add. If you had to charge me, if you had to pay me to go, that would be $10,000 or $15,000 per speech for me to show up. That's what it costs for a professional speaker like me to go out, and I'm your professional speaker within the organization representing you.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. So that segues to the work that you do. So one of the things that I think was really interesting about our previous conversation is about how you specifically work, and you've mentioned a little bit about multicultural women, women in general, women leaders, multicultural leaders, but the recruitment and the retention piece of what that connection is to diversity, equity, and inclusion work for those particular communities or populations within the workforce. Can you talk a little bit about what you do and what you have experienced in your work?
Sure. So I use a term that I always ask people, do you WAMU? So do you WAMU? WAMU! And WAMU stands for Women, African American, Asians, Hispanics, and Military who offer opportunities. So WAMUing is critically important for growth and engagement. So I do recruitment, retention, and engagement of the WAMU market and supporting organizations who want to reach the WAMU market. And so for me, it was, for instance, for the military, it's actually the military and in the STEM industry, the science, technology, engineering, and math, is how to engage, recruit, engage, and retain women and multicultural women. So Latinas, African American, Blacks, Asian women, how do we help those women grow? And most specifically at the higher level, so at the director and above, because they hire women, they hire the WAMU market, they'll hire women from the military, they'll hire the multicultural women. But when it comes to a senior leadership position, and I'm talking director above, executive director above, there's a high level of women who decide to leave. There comes a sense of, I've been fighting this fight for so long. Like, you either get it or you don't. I'm tired of the fight. I'm find my soul, my heart, and have my passions. And you're either not hearing me so that I stay in alignment to that. You're not supporting me to stay in that alignment, or that there aren't the opportunities for you to be flexible enough to meet my needs. And so it's a dual way. I've always looked at it, Jessica, from this perspective. How do organizations help and hinder the WAMU market from moving up rank, and how the WAMU personalities themselves and experiences and culture help or hinder themselves? It's been I have been fascinated about it since, oh God, at least 45, 50 years.
Wow.
It's just been fascinating. That's, I went to school, I went to my BA on education and theater, but I went for my master's in social work, looking specifically at organizational development for cultural communities and women. It was my thing, right? And so I truly know, it's not even that I feel, I know that I feel like I'm on this, I know that I'm on this massive ship that floats around the world, that brings in women who really want to lead, feel this sense of, I have to have influence and impact, I have to grow, and I don't know how to do it. And they come to my ship, we do the trainings that need to occur, the confidence and the coaching and the mind-blowing, I own this, being a goddess warrior in this world, and then they launch off the ship to do what they need to do and serve thousands. That's why I was made to do what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just in case people didn't catch it, can you do what the WAMU stands for again?
WAMU.
Yeah.
So think of WAAAHMOO. Women, African Americans, Asians, Hispanics, military offer opportunities. So do you WAMU? Do you know WAMU? And I am WAMU. I'm going to go to WAMU.
It's a nice onomatopoeia as well, right? Like, right. So I wanted to make sure people got it. And
yeah, when I do my presentations and I'm speaking to people and I have an audience shouting back to me, and I'll speak to, I either speak to all women audiences usually, or all male audiences. The male audiences are usually senior leadership, or they're from the marketing, sales kind of industry, or they're at a senior level of talent management. And I need them to have a way to think about it. Mm-hmm. That's not academic, but that's memorable.
Right. No, I think it's a great lens, because you can just be like, wait, hold on. Okay, great. Check. Done. Okay, Nick, move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 favorite questions. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Number 1 is, what have you changed your mind about lately?
Oh, well, that is so my mind is synthesizing information. So I just finished working on a political campaign for a minority woman. And I went in with definitely rainbows and unicorns and the American flag floating behind me and lots of Star Spangled Banner, that this is a political system and this is how it goes, and yes. And I've been just shocked and amazed at one, the apathy of citizens, of not, especially citizens not being interested in local endeavors. I felt like I was whacked a couple of times around the head about knowing my studies as women as community leaders, the surprise that women generally are the highest registered voters, and yet they don't participate in at the highest level of voting. Really was surprised about that. I mean, just, and then understanding that while there's people that will run, great people, fantastic people, love fantastic women who will run for office, the mindset and the differences between women and men and how they run campaigns is very shocking, very disheartening. I went from I'm not even in the manure. I'm not even seeing the crap as manure yet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's still like, whoa. So that has nothing to do with anything except that I've been, in terms of what was my most aha, it's how do I continue to strengthen a woman who desires to run her core so that she can weather the storms. And my candidate was very strong in her core, but that core needs to be really strengthened in a deeper way in a much deeper way than I've ever imagined before. Cool. And I knew it needed to be strong, but we're talking, we need to go from steel to pure diamond strength.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you absolutely know?
I absolutely positively know for sure that the world is becoming. I absolutely positively know for sure that the power of diversity, the power of inclusion, the power of owning yourself and being your full-bodied self, and the power of looking at other people and spreading your arms and including them in decisions is the way that this world, companies, organizations, communities, and cities will expand and serve. I know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that the conversations that D&I experts, for instance, have that bring into these conversations only makes us stronger. And I know I become embracing the power of optimism, being hope and confidence. Mm-hmm. So I know that when individuals have hope and have confidence to be their full selves and share their full selves in a very powerful way, that transformation happens in the world in a very positive way. And I am very clear that is why we're here.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And I'm not surprised that that's an answer from you either. I think you kind of live that regularly. So, okay. So lightning round.
Yay, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Go.
Always hard to tell a keynoter that it's lightning round.
Yeah,
so
it's fast.
Yeah, so these are 3 numbers that you randomly selected from my icebreaker cards.
Okay.
So first one, there's either easy, intermediate, or deep. Your first number was 11. What is your favorite section of the bookstore in which to browse?
Personal development, spiritual healing.
Excellent. 22, intermediate. What is something that has happened in your life that has defined who you are?
Continual change. I am a freaking chameleon lizard that's continually changing colors and finding and discovering myself. I discover my toes every single day. I am joyously indulging in finding and discovering me.
Excellent. And then number 44, which is deep. If you could tell your younger self something, what would it be? How would you share the information, and when would you do it?
So it would be, one, girl, you are so much more powerful than you have ever imagined. Just go for it. Keep on pushing over there. Be your most bodacious, enthusiastic, excited self. We just don't care about what people think about you. Care about what you think about you and embrace that. I would tell you that all those letters that you wrote to yourself and to your higher power were heard and received, and you are much and deeply loved. I will tell you that every decision you've made has been the right and perfect decision for your life. There are no mistakes. You've made no mistakes. Your life is and will be brilliant. Just be you.
Couldn't agree more. Pegine, thank you very much for spending some time with us. If people wanted to get in touch with you, how would they go about doing that?
Very simply, go to www.pegine, Pegine.com. Do a hashtag Pegine Power. Just go into Google, go Pegine, Pegine, and you'll find me, and I hope you do.
Excellent. Thank you so much.